Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Geraldi and I make videos about Slip of Life, organization, and planner videos. So if that's your type of jam, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also click the notification bell so you do know when I do upload, and follow me on all my social media. I'm at Geraldi Silva. So welcome back guys. I have started a mini series called You Got Your First Big Girl Job, Now What? So I want to explain to you guys the background as to why I'm creating this and what this means. So you got your first big girl job, meaning that you just graduated and you just got your diploma, you just got hired, you're just starting out in your big girl career. And now that you're out there, because college life and work life are two completely different two completely different worlds, you may also feel indifferent because you'll be stepping into a world where you've never been in before. College is kind of like that in between of going from adult to from child to adult, and then stepping into the workforce. It's like full on adult. You have big bills, you have big responsibilities, and you're going to be dealing with so many personalities, so many different situations. And so I wanted to create this series as to help you transition from college life to work life. So it's like you got your big girl job, your first big girl job, now what do I do? One thing for sure that we may all feel when we're stepping into that world is imposter syndrome. So that's one of the 4 topics that we'll be talking about this month. So let me tell you guys actually what the 4 topics are for our little mini series that I've created. So number 1, part 1 is going to be how to deal with imposter syndrome, which is the video you clicked on today. So if you're feeling that way, we're going to talk about it. We're going to get through with it. Don't worry about it. I got you, girl. Number 2 is how to deal with catty and gossipy co-workers. Part 3 is going to be on how to ask for a raise. So you're in this field, you're doing your job, and so what about it? How do you go about asking for a raise? And then last but not least, it's how to budget your money and what to do with your first paycheck. You're getting your first big girl job. It means you got big girl money. What are you going to do with it? There's so many endless possibilities, but you also want to be smart with money. You don't want to just be giving it away and doing nothing with it. So I'm going to be teaching you everything in this 4-part mini series. So it's going to be one video every Wednesday for the month of September. So please subscribe if you're interested in watching, and let's get on with the part number 1 in our mini series. You got your first big girl job, now what? How to deal with imposter syndrome. Okay guys, so in order to figure out how we can deal with imposter syndrome, we need to understand what imposter syndrome is. So basically, imposter syndrome is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. And that can manifest in many different ways. You may feel like a liar because you may not know what you don't know. That's how I felt when I first started. I didn't know what I didn't know. So when I went through my training, they would ask me, do you have any questions? I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. I went through school, I learned the material, I should know the material, but now that I'm here in the real world, working with real clients, working with real situations, I don't know what I don't know. I felt like a liar, I felt like a phony, I felt like I didn't deserve to have the position, I felt like I didn't deserve to have the job, I felt alone because everybody else seemed like they were chugging along and getting things right, and I was the loner being there just not knowing what was happening. And I didn't want to look bad either in the eyes of my employer. I wanted to be the best worker as well, the best clinician to my clients. I wanted to be the best therapist. So I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I'm sure that's probably what you're feeling. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself when you're making that big transition into your career, into your big girl job. So you might feel like you're just not ready for it. You don't want to jump into this position just yet. And the thing is too, is that we hold ourselves back a lot. It's ourselves. When it comes to imposter syndrome, it's honestly all about overthinking. You're overthinking your abilities, you're overthinking your strengths, you're overthinking your hard work that you did during college. Like, you're here now, you got this position, you're here to do the work, and you deserve to be there. That's something that you need to remind yourself, is that you deserve to be here. It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't happen magically. You didn't just get lucky that someone handed you a diploma. Like, no, you put in the work, you put in the hours, you put in the tears, you put in the late nights, the studying to pass your test. So now that we understand what is imposter syndrome, what are the symptoms of imposter syndrome? So if you feel this way, you probably have it. So the one thing that, number one tell of imposter syndrome is self-doubt. Number two is undervaluing your credentials. So girl, you got your diploma. No one can take that away from you. That's the one advice my mama has always gave me, is that they could take away your money, they could take away your hair, they could take away your clothes, they could take away any material thing. The one thing that they can't do is take away that diploma and take away that knowledge. And then another symptom that happens with imposter syndrome is that you feel alone. You feel like you're the only one going through it. You feel like you feel stuck. You don't feel like you're moving forward in any way. So how do you get out of that? That's a great question to ask. How do you get out of that little cycle of overthinking? Well, I'm gonna tell you how. Don't worry about it. So actually, when I was researching, there's actually 5 different types of imposter syndrome. I didn't know this until I researched it myself. 5 different types. So how do you get out of it is by understanding which type you are. You may be all of them, you may be some of them, you may be none of them. Good for you if you're none, because that just means that you feel confident in yourself. But for those of us who might feel just a little bit like, I don't think I'm good enough to be here. Trust me, you are. So there's 5 different types. It's understanding where you're at and what you can do to change that. So the type number 1 for imposter syndrome is the perfectionist. That means that unless you are doing everything perfect, you could have always done better. Are we all a perfectionist? I'm definitely a perfectionist. I always feel like I could be doing better. I could be a better mom, I could be a better sister, I could be a better daughter, I could be a better film person, I could be a better whatever, insert blank. And it's just an overthinking habit that we have, where we think that what we do is never good enough. And how horrible of that. We need to think of ourselves that we're always doing the best that we can. And again, we should be graceful to ourselves. Why be mean? Like, we're just starting off. Think about it. You just got your first big girl job. You need to be graceful with yourself. Like, you're learning, you're getting those tricycle wheels off of your bike. Or number 2 is the expert, and this one is what I feel majority of the time. And this one means that don't know everything, you feel like you're not qualified for the job. It's that you don't know everything, therefore you don't feel the value in accepting a rate that is good for you. So taking a lowball rate, taking the first offer that you get just because you're like, I want to get the experience, like I'm not experienced enough to deserve anything better. You need to understand that you may not feel like the expert right now, but in the eyes of your clients, you are the expert. You got here, and to your clients, to your customers, you are an expert because you know more than they do. And you're teaching them you may know just a little bit, and that's okay. But the little that you do know is valuable to these people because they don't know anything, and that's okay. With time and time again, you're gonna get better, you're gonna learn more, and you're gonna be able to go through the motions of like, I got this. As time goes by, you're gonna get more wise and you're gonna get more experience, and so you're gonna learn how to deal with more things, and then that's when you can ask for a raise. So stay tuned for part 3. So type number 3 for imposter syndrome is the natural genius. So that just means that if you're not naturally smart or competent in your field, you feel like a phony. Think about it. Doctors have to know so many medications, have to know so many different types of diseases and whatnot. And just imagine to withhold all that information in their head. They possibly can't. They're gonna know some stuff because of school and whatnot. There's gonna be stuff that's stuck in their head, but that doesn't mean they're gonna know everything. Plus, there's always new stuff coming in. There's always new diseases, new medications. So they're not always gonna be competent in every single disease that comes out. And so they're going to Google it. They're going to go find other resources to figure things out. And that's okay. They're not naturally competent in that. And that doesn't make them a fraud or a phony, because with the information that they do receive, they know what to do with it. They know how to turn it into a treatment. And that's the training that they had at school. It's like, okay, you receive this information, what do you do with it? So somebody who doesn't know anything, who never went to school with it, if they receive this information, they're gonna be like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, yeah, you're telling me you're telling me X, Y, and Z, but I don't know how to turn it into a treatment. I don't know how to treat myself and medicate myself and make myself feel better. It's like, no, you're the expert, because you know how to receive information and turn it into something. You know how to turn it into a product. You know how to turn it into a medication. You know how to turn it into a therapy treatment. So that's what makes you valuable, and that's what you're getting paid to do. That's what you're getting paid to do. Number 4 is something I also feel. Number 4 of imposter syndrome is the soloist. So that means that unless you're doing it all by yourself, completely by yourself, if you didn't have to ask questions, if you didn't have to Google it, if you didn't have to look it up in a book, you have no business being here. You don't deserve the title of having your bachelor's or having your master's or being a doctor or whatever. You don't deserve the title of your position. You are a valuable person because you know what to do with the information that they give you. Last thing is super person. This means that you have to be the hardest worker and the highest achieving to be successful, which no, you don't have to be. You don't have to be the best person. You don't have to be the best worker. You don't have to be the best clinician. You don't have to be the best doctor. You just have to be happy with the way that you are doing your job. That's literally it. Whether the other person's happy or not, no, it's always subjective. The way that you come across somebody is always going to be subjective. Whether you're nice, you're mean, you're ugly, you're fat, you're disgusting, it's always going to be subjective. But if you're happy within yourself and you know you're trying your hardest, and you know you're trying to figure things out, and you're trying to do your best, and it's coming with good intentions and good energy, and you actually want to help these people, then you should feel happy with yourself. You're hardworking in that sense. But you don't have to over exceed that and try to people please everybody. Like, that's not how we go about life. It's how you end up feeling burnt out, because you're constantly trying to please others, when in reality all you have to do is just please yourself. And if you know that you're doing a really great job and you're doing best, and that doesn't mean that you can't take feedback and try to become better. You could always take feedback, and you could always be like, okay, you know what, I could try doing this. Maybe I'll try doing this and see how that goes. If you're constantly just telling yourself like, oh, I should do better, I could do better, I can be better, and you're constantly like work, you're gonna feel burnt out, and you're not gonna want to do it anymore, and then you're gonna want to quit, and then there goes your first big girl job, and then you're gonna stop watching this series, and then what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, girl? Be yourself graceful, be kind to yourself, and stop overthinking, and just tell yourself you're doing the best that you can. If it's coming with good intention and it's coming within the heart, you're doing amazing. You're doing great, sweetie. So how do we stop all this? How do we stop this imposter syndrome? Now that you understand what imposter syndrome is and what type that you may are, what can you do to overcome it? So what you can do is just get comfortable with yourself and understanding that these thoughts may be irrational. You have to question these thoughts and think, am I irrational in thinking that I don't deserve to be here, that I don't deserve this position, when in reality it's like you do. You've crossed that bridge, you've climbed that mountain. How are you going to climb all the way to the top and then think, oh yeah, this isn't for me? Like, I got my diploma, but you know what, this ain't for me, bye. I mean, that's cool if you got into the field and you thought like it was going to be different, and then you didn't want it, then yeah, you know, figure something else out. But if you're at the top and what's stopping you is the fact that you feel like you're not good enough, then that's a whole different ballpark. You are good enough. You have to just cross that bridge over and figuring things out and Googling things and just being prepared. Being prepared is what will get you farther in life. Just plan and ask questions, and don't be afraid to speak out, and don't be scared to put up boundaries as well with yourself and with others by stopping those negative thoughts. So just think to yourself, is this irrational? Yes or no? No? Okay, then stop. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also, click the notification bell. Click the notification bell so you do know when I do upload. And follow me on all my social media. I'm at Geraldine Silva. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this little mini series, and I will catch you guys again next week. Bye! Mwah.